It's Wednesday, July 26, and this is now on HNN. The ACLU is suing the city, saying the sweeps of Oahu's homeless residents violate civil rights.
In New York, at least a dozen are hurt after crane went up in flames, then partially collapsed onto the streets of Manhattan.
So she kicked the tires on this deal and at the end of the day said, look, I just can't approve this.
A plea deal between the DOJ and Hunter Biden falls apart in court. I'm Skyler Henry in Wilmington, Delaware, with the snag keeping the president's son in legal jeopardy.
When you walk into this facility again, you're going to have a whole different vibe than what you had last year.
These stories plus fall camp is underway in Manoa for the Rainbow Warriors football team. We'll take you there coming up on This Is Now.
Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to This Is Now. The ACLU announced today that it is filing a lawsuit against the city challenging its sweeps of houseless people across Oahu.
The organization is asking the court to stop the city's targeted enforcement that includes citations and arrests until there's enough shelter space available. Now, the ACLU said the city's current actions violate civil rights and constitutes cruel and unusual punishment. The lawsuit also alleges the enforcements violate the individual's fundamental right of free movement and due process. Now, during these sweeps, the ACLU said the houseless are displaced and often have their personal belongings destroyed. The ACLU says data shows that on any given night, there are more than 2,300 unsheltered individuals on Oahu, but fewer than 50 vacancies in shelters, which only perpetuates the cycle of poverty. So we're going to have much more on this story, including a response from the city, online, and in later editions of Hawaii News Now.
And now to our other top story, which comes out of New York City. Take a look at this frightening video. Onlookers watched from below as a fire burned atop a construction crane in Manhattan. Now, part of it eventually came crashing down, and a neighboring building was damaged in that incident there.
That's right. Miraculously, just a couple people suffered minor injuries, about a dozen, some dashing out of the way just moments before the debris hit the city walkways. Now, officials are working to figure out what went wrong 45 stories up. Lilia Luciano reports from the scene.
We're in Midtown Manhattan, where this morning at around 7:30 a.m. a fire started in a crane that was part of this construction site. When that happened, the crane itself collapsed, and part of it, the boom of the crane, fell to the ground with 16 tons of cement. Fortunately, only 6 people were injured, sustaining only minor injuries. It was 4 civilians, 2 firefighters who had been responding to the initial fire.
Why we're so lucky is not only the boom falling to the street, but all of that concrete could have struck civilians, and this has spread out throughout the area here. So we were extremely lucky. This
is the mouth of the Lincoln Tunnel, one of the worst possible areas for something like this to happen. Fortunately, because it happened in the early morning hours, there were no major injuries. There have been more than 200 firefighters and EMS workers working through the morning. Now the area is being cleared out. Lilia Luciano, CBS News, New York.
Taxpayers will fund a multi-million-dollar settlement with rape victims from the women's prison despite losing in court. A jury sided with the state last November, but in recent weeks it was revealed that evidence may have been withheld ahead of trial. Court transcripts from an April proceeding show the federal judge wanted to have an evidentiary hearing to better understand how everything went down. And the judge planned to call the deputies from the Attorney General's office to the stand to answer questions. But soon after, a settlement offer of $2.2 million was made to the 5 women.
Realize that there was an error that was made here by failing to disclose the information. And as a result, didn't want to have the judge dig into the reasoning why they didn't want to disclose this.
It must have been pretty significant. But clearly, the women were not protected properly. And I hope that steps have been taken to remedy that problem.
In a statement, the Attorney General strongly denied claims of misconduct. A settlement requires lawmaker approval in the next session.
The trial of a woman accused of murdering a housekeeper on Oahu's North Shore continues as she testified in court that her ex-boyfriend is solely responsible for the killing. Haley Danduran told jurors she moved to Hawaii in 2017 and got into an abusive relationship with Stephen Brown. She said they became homeless and broke into a Pupukea vacation home to find food. While inside, she said they heard a noise, and then Brown pulled a machete from a bag and walked around a corner. It was Telma Boinville. Danduran said she was in another room when Brown attacked the housekeeper.
It was horrible. She looked terrified. You see the wounds on her arms. She was bleeding from her neck.
What were your thoughts with regard to Stephen Brown, the machete-wielding man covered in blood?
I was scared. I didn't really understand why he was doing that.
What was your understanding about your choices at that very, very moment?
That if I didn't listen, that Stephen would hurt me or kill me, so.
Danduran said Brown forced her to tie up the victim as he hit Boinville on the head with a hammer, and that Brown brought Boinville's then 8-year-old daughter Makana into the house and Danduran tied her up. Brown was already convicted of murder and is due to be sentenced next month. Danduran's trial resumes Thursday.
Hunter Biden faced the judge to accept a plea deal that capped a 5-year investigation, but that hearing hit a major snag. Skylar Henry reports on a day of surprises in Wilmington, Delaware.
Hunter Biden walked into the federal courthouse planning to accept a plea deal, but after a tense 3-hour hearing, the agreement fell apart, drawing this response from the president and first lady.
They love their son and they support him as he continues to rebuild his life.
The president's son instead pleaded not guilty to 2 tax charges after the judge said she would not rubber stamp the deal and had serious concerns.
She kicked the tires on this deal and at the end of the day said, look, I just can't approve this.
The deal started unraveling over questions about its scope. Biden's team said it protected him against future prosecution. An apparent misunderstanding.
The prosecution was abundantly clear at this hearing that this was not intended to be a global agreement. The defense believed it was.
Hunter Biden had also planned to admit to possession of a gun as a drug user, committing to a diversion plan that would have required him to remain drug-free to avoid prison time. House Republicans had criticized the agreement as a sweetheart deal and promised to continue their investigations, including scrutiny of the president.
I'm investigating Joe Biden. We've always investigated Joe Biden. I know the media calls it the Hunter Biden investigation, but it's the Joe Biden investigation.
After the deal unraveled, the judge gave the 2 sides 2 weeks to address her concerns and said she will then reach a decision on whether to accept or reject their agreement. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Irish singer Sinead OConnor has died. RTE, which is Ireland's public broadcaster, confirmed her death on Wednesday. CNN's Stephanie Elam takes a look at her life and troubled legacy.
Sinead OConnor obliterated the image of the female music star in the late 1980s with a shaved head, stirring performances, and a mouthful of controversial opinions. O'Connor topped the music charts in 1990 with her version of Nothing Compares to You, written by Prince. She won MTV's Video of the Year award. Rolling Stone named her Artist of the Year in 1991. She earned 4 Grammy nominations for the song and the album it was on. But accolades and awards seem to mean nothing compared to O'Connor's drive to provoke thought.
Fight the real enemy.
When O'Connor ripped up this photo of Pope John Paul II on national television, backlash reverberated around the globe. Weeks later, a New York crowd booed the singer loudly and incessantly when she took her turn on stage at a Bob Dylan tribute. O'Connor repeatedly defended herself, calling herself Catholic and spiritual. And in 1999, she became the first priestess of a dissident Roman Catholic group. When the Catholic priest sex abuse scandal exploded, O'Connor called for the Pope to tell the truth.
We have the documents and we have the proof that tell us that we're being lied to, and we're being lied to by people who are supposed to represent Jesus Christ.
O'Connor lashed out at other celebrities. Once called U2's music bombastic, started a war of words with Miley Cyrus when O'Connor publicly urged the young performer not to, quote, let the music business make a prostitute of you, and accused Arsenio Hall of being a drug supplier for Prince after the superstar's death. O'Connor's personal life was tabloid fodder, divorce, custody battles. The singer married 4 times, was mother to 4 children. Tormented, talented, O'Connor attempted suicide in the late 1990s. In early 2022, she checked into a hospital while grieving the death of her 3rd son, Shane. At 51, O'Connor converted to Islam, covering her trademark shaved head with a hijab. But she continued performing her music, reflecting upon a lifetime of struggles.
I don't want to waste the life God gave me, and I don't think that it's too late to save me.
Less than 2 weeks before school starts, the DOE is suspending school bus service to more than a dozen campuses statewide. It comes amid a major shortage of bus drivers. 10 schools on Oahu will lose bus service entirely and see dramatic cuts. 4 schools on Kauai will also lose service. Students at affected schools will have to rely on public transportation. The DOE says the state will pay for it.
I have to rely on my partners, the city and county and all of the other guys, that they do their best to provide a safe transport. And it's no difference from us. Our objective is to take the children from point A to point B in a very safe manner.
The DOE hopes the changes are temporary, but did not say when the suspended routes will resume. You can find a full list of impacted campuses on our website.
The city is installing over 260 road signs along Oahu's major coastal roadways to mark tsunami hazard areas. Officials said 3 different types of signs will be installed to alert motorists and pedestrians when they are entering, leaving, or within a tsunami hazard area. This is the second phase of a project aimed at increasing public awareness of Oahu's tsunami hazard areas. The first road signs were installed earlier this month in Windward, Oahu, and it will continue around the island through the end of the year. Consolidated Theaters will be closing another location, this time on Oahu. The Koko Marina movie theater in Hawaii Kai will be closing after its last scheduled show on Sunday. This comes just a few weeks after Consolidated Theaters closed its Maui location. The location said that each moviegoer who visits during July 28th to July 30th will receive free popcorn as well as Mahalo Day ticket pricing, which is $7 for a seat all day. During their closing weekend, guests will also be able to snatch some memorabilia in the form of an old movie poster from the theater's library while supplies last.
As dual strikes continue in Hollywood, affecting thousands of actors and writers, an independent film on Maui continues production. Moku Moku is a Hawaiian comedy series that takes place in the Paneola town of Makawao. It's one of the few productions filming right now. Actor Mark Ruffalo recently tweeted asking for more support for independent films, saying it'll strengthen the union when there's more competition. The creator of Moku Moku says that's a game changer.
Indie Hollywood doesn't have to be a remora on Hollywood's teeth. It can actually stand independently and check Union Hollywood, because that's the thing that Union Hollywood's missing. It's missing competition. It's missing someone that goes, on your left.
There's no end in sight for the strikes that effectively shut down Hollywood. SAG-AFTRA is planning a Maui rally for mid-August.
We have new video of a historic landmark on Oahu's North Shore coming down. Crews have begun the demolition of the iconic Waialua Sugar Mill smokestack. It's not only as a landmark for the community, but also a piece of Hawaii's plantation history. News of this work has led some residents to start a petition to save the smokestack. The mill closed down in 1996. We'll have more on this coming up on Hawaii News Now, as well as our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. Well, the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors are starting their football training camp, and this morning, Casey Lund and Kyle Chinen went there to check it out.
Aloha from Manoa. We are pumped up. I'm all dressed up, decked out.
Look at him.
Ready
Hey,
for.
look at you.
I'm geared up and I'm ready to go. Eric Matthews is with us, the Director of Marketing and Fan Experience. Going to talk about all the exciting stuff that's happening at TC Ching. But while we have behind us the beginning of fall camp going on, I want to toss things over to Kyle.
What's up?
Give us an idea of what today was all about.
Yeah.
This morning the guys got out here and they had to be ready to go.
Oh, they have to be ready to go. Today was the first day of official practice as an entire team. You know, over the summer, the player ran things, smaller groups, but now they're able to come together with the coaches and kind of get ready, get that mindset ready for that season opener against Vanderbilt. They want to get that sour taste out of their mouth from last year's loss to Vandy, but they got to go to Nashville this time. It's going to be fun. But no, yeah, camp is a job interview, right? They want to get, you know, if you're not a solidified starter, you want to get back into that rotation. You want to be on the field come Saturdays. So this is what camp is all about.
And if you are a solidified starter, you better not be resting on your laurels.
Oh, yeah.
You better show up too. And then Eric Matthews with us, Director of Marketing and Fan Experience. Just over there is the newly improved, almost done. I know that we can still hear some of the construction going on. TC Ching, Clarence TC Ching Athletics Complex. So much work has gone into making that a much better atmosphere.
So much work, but a lot of exciting work. You add 9,000 fans to 15,000 fans. You add in the 75-foot video board coming over from Aloha Stadium. It's going to have a whole different feel. I know last year the kind of feel was this doesn't feel like Division I sometimes. I feel like when you walk into this facility again, you're going to have a whole different vibe than what you had last year.
I mean, even just walking in there while it was empty, you just see how much of a grander space it is with those added seats. Concessions aren't going to, in fact, they're only going to get better with the food trucks. People are concerned about that. But one other thing that I really want to ask you about is tickets. Where can people get their season tickets? Can they still get them? And what should people know about this season as far as that goes?
I'm glad you asked, Casey. So etickethawaii.com is where you go to get tickets at. But here's the kicker. The Keiki season ticket package. You got to capitalize on this. You get 2 free youth tickets with the purchase of only 1 adult ticket. We want to bring families back to UH football. We want to be a part of what you do as a family. So you get those 2 free youth tickets for this year and next year. That's good enough for 2 seasons. So capitalize on that now. etickethawaii.com. Promo code KKF23.
Excellent. Eric Matthews with us, and there is just too much to talk about as far as what they've done to make the fan experience more interactive. We have an exciting year of football to look forward to, fellas. Kyle, anything else? I mean, you've got, I know, a busy season ahead, and these guys are at work, right?
They're just gonna get to work, and I can't wait to see how it kind of shapes up leading up to that season opener.
30 days from now, August 26th.
30 days,
Get your tickets again, eTicket Hawaii. We'll have that information up at hawaiinewsnow.com if you missed it. And go Bows.
Shaker bombs!
In its 50-year history, the Hokulea is embarking on its longest and most dangerous voyage around the Pacific. Hawaii News Now was invited to document the beginning in Southeast Alaska. In Moana Nui Akea, a voyage for Earth, Hokulea sails to its most northern point she's ever been. The crew reunites with family and sees how wild Alaska is. Moana Nui Akea, a voyage for Earth, this Friday on K5 at 8 p.m. and on Hawaii News Now's digital platforms.
Let's give you a live look outside over beautiful and sunny Honolulu. And actually, it's a really beautiful day. As you can see the state capitol in the foreground right there. But Ashley, it's hot, isn't it?
It sure is. I'm told on our home island of Kauai, it's super humid. I'm heading there this weekend, so
fun.
Excited about that.
Love
that.
that.
What's in store for the rest of the week? Let's send it over to our friend, Guy Hagi.
How's it on this Wednesday? The beautiful trade wind conditions will continue. And you can see the good thing is, even though we're approaching the 2-month mark of the hurricane season, still very quiet in the central and in the East Pacific. No cyclonic activity expected anytime soon. And we do have a few light showers for a handful of windward spots this morning, but the rainfall is light. Plus, with the breezy winds, the rain's moving out very quickly. That limits the rainfall buildups. Flooding definitely not an issue anytime soon. And those winds, however, will be running pretty swift today at about 15 to 25 for some leeward spots, especially windy over in Maui County. Lighter winds, of course, on the Kona side. That's why Kona likely gets some clouds and some showers in the afternoon. And as far as the surf, because of the breezy winds, we still have an east wind swell running at 2 to 4 feet, and that small southwest pulse continues, but the waves are kind of inconsistent and maybe waist belly high at best. So the overall weather pattern is not going to change anytime soon. Breezy winds today, slightly slower, but still at breezy levels from tomorrow all the way through the weekend. Rainfall will be sparse, although if we're lucky, we'll get a few windward and Mocha showers.
Thank you so much, Guy. Time to check out some news from the feeds. Well, the truth is out there, and Congress seems determined to find out exactly what it is. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill heard testimony today from former military intelligence personnel who says UAPs, or unidentified anomalous phenomena, more what we call UFOs, are more common than what we think.
Yeah, and this comes as lawmakers question if the government knows more about UFOs than they let on. Karen Kaifa has more.
UFOs are real.
As we convene here, UAP are in our airspace.
And the government needs to take reports of sightings more seriously.
These sightings are not rare or isolated, they are routine.
At least according to testimony from 3 former military and intelligence personnel making their case for more government transparency before a House Oversight Subcommittee Wednesday.
The American people deserve to know what is happening in our skies.
In April, the Pentagon said it was tracking some 650 incidents involving unidentified anomalous phenomena that are currently unexplained, but emphasized there was no evidence of extraterrestrial life or of objects that defy physics.
It's rotating.
But former Navy fighter pilot Ryan Graves and former Navy Commander David Fravor say they have seen UAPs up close and personal, performing unexplainable maneuvers.
We have nothing that can stop in midair and go the other direction.
And believe they may pose a threat to the safety of pilots and the country.
If UAP are foreign drones, it is an urgent national security problem. If it is something else, it is an issue for science. In either case, unidentified objects are concerned for flight safety.
The hearing just the latest effort by Congress to find the truth and what it means for us here on Earth.
Am I certain that all of these sightings are aliens? Of course not. But I do believe unidentified aerial phenomenon around our top secret military bases is a possible threat that we have to take seriously.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
So the FTC is finalizing an antitrust lawsuit that could ultimately break up parts of Amazon. That's according to Politico. The lawsuit is expected to focus on several areas, including Amazon Prime, Amazon rules that the FTC says block lower prices on competing websites, and policies the FTC believes force merchants to use Amazon's logistics and advertising services. The lawsuit is expected as early as August, and if successful, it could lead to a court-ordered restructuring of the $1.3 trillion company.
Let's go ahead now and check out some good news now. We want to give a shout out. We just got this image into our newsroom a short time ago. This is 17-year-old Elijah Werner. We got this picture from his mom with this impressive catch over there on Kauai. Ingrid, his mom, says that he was free diving and shot a 104-pound ulua off Kauai's south shore yesterday. Now, they say the family has grown up in those waters, and this has been something that he's been wanting to catch for quite a while. That's definitely an impressive catch right there.
She's a proud mom.
Yes.
And lastly, really quick, so Subway running a promotion in August, giving sandwich fans a chance to win free sandwiches for life. But all you got to do is change your first name to Subway. Yeah, not hard at all. So according to Bloomberg, once a winner is chosen, the company will pay the winner's legal fees to assume, quote, a new iconic identity. The contest starts August 1st.
Or if you know anyone
Subway
who's pregnant. Or if you know anyone who's pregnant, just tell them, name the kid Subway right from the start. That way you ain't got to change the paperwork. Also, I love this video, which is like, what, from early 2000s, the old-fashioned Subway. Ah, such memories there.
Oh, that looks good.
Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.